You're welcome back. Now, today, Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark Kidney Day. The day is set aside to raise awareness, and because, of course, across the globe, 10% of the population is affected by preventable yet deadly kidney disease. As part of the effort to increase awareness in Ghana, pediatric nephrologist Dr. Victoria May Adabayeri is warning against the intake of unapproved traditional medicine, as it has a potential of causing kidney disease. According to her, the intake of unapproved traditional medicine has been identified as one of the causes of kidney malfunction in Ghana. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital, for instance, recorded a 30% increase in reported cases of kidney disease between 2017 and 2018, a situation that has been described as worrying. Dr. Bwedu has a lot more on this in the following report.
According to renal experts, it is estimated that 850 million people worldwide have kidney diseases. Dr. Victoria May Adabayeri says kidney cases amongst children increased by 30% last year. She explained that though some children are born with life-threatening kidney conditions, there are many other children who get the condition due to unhealthy lifestyles.
Obesity is one thing that we are all fighting against, because if the children are too big, it can affect their kidney health. And also the use of herbal medications or non-prescribed medications can also affect the kidney. So definitely your lifestyle in children for obesity and the use of herbal medications. The statistics that show that we saw more children with kidney conditions, and that means with a lot of different conditions of the kidney. We saw more in 2018 as compared to 2017. We had about a 30% increase, but that doesn't necessarily translate into it being on the rise in the population. It could be that mothers or parents are more sensitized and therefore are seeking attention earlier. So we do see an increase in the absolute numbers, but that doesn't necessarily translate into there being more problems with the kidney in the population.
Dr. Victoria May Adabayeri says specializing in pediatric nephrology is expensive and requires the state to invest in the infrastructure needed for the training.
Training. I was trained, so there should be more training opportunities for young doctors to enter into the subspecialization. And probably because it's so challenging with funds and equipment, we cannot draw their interest, or they sometimes feel it is a fruitless specialty. So we could change that and encourage younger doctors to join the kidney subspecialty.
Dr. Adabayeri also called on parents to look out for particular symptoms in children to detect kidney conditions at an early stage. And she also cautioned parents on the intake of salt.
If the child is not growing well, that is one very important reason. So mothers of young children, babies, should be interested in the growth of their babies. And medically, we take care of that by asking them to go to the immunization clinics, the child welfare clinics, where their growth is plotted. Again, mothers of baby boys should be watching how the urine comes out, because a young baby boy should be able to spurt out the urine that will travel a long distance. But if the urine is just coming out in dribbles, it could be that there was a developmental issue. The child's kidney did not develop properly, and so it needs to be investigated. So watch the urinary stream of your boys, watch the growth pattern of the small children. As the child grows older, if they notice any swellings of the eyes, of the legs, of the abdomen, that could also be a sign that there's a kidney problem. But again, we don't expect our mothers to know everything, so an annual checkup of the child's urine and the child's growth and the child's blood pressure at a clinic could also reveal that there could be a kidney problem and it can be investigated.
Now, this is some serious stuff. I really think we ought to learn a bit more about it. So I'm really glad we have a doctor from the internal medicine unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital here with us to throw a bit more light on the lifestyle trends that appear to be accounting for some of the cases that they attend to. His name is Dr. Victor Ekem, and he's at Kolebu Teaching Hospital with the internal medicine department. Thank you so much, Dr. Ekem, for making the time to be with us.
Thanks for having me.
So kidney disease, across the world, we're looking at 10% of all humans are estimated to have some form of kidney disease. What are the comparative Ghanaian figures?
So worldwide, the percentages range from about 10 to 15%. A study that was done in Ghana not too long ago put it at about 70% of the population
17
afflicted by kidney disease.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's get basic, and then we'll start to understand the complexities.
Okay. Yeah.
So, kidney disease. When your kidney has a problem, how does it affect your body?
All right. So before you will know how the kidney affects the body, a kidney disease affects the body, you need to know what the kidneys do. And as I described the last time, essentially the kidneys serve as a filter for your blood. So everything you eat, everything you drink, essentially the body takes the good part out of it, the kidney filters the blood and eliminates the waste. So that includes excess water, excess solutes, everything else comes out through the kidneys. So once the kidneys start failing, all these toxic wastes tend to build up, including excess water that should have come out. So most people with kidney disease tend to have, or they look swollen, which they look edematous, that's the scientific term. So they are swollen, their ability to produce urine reduces. These are some of the signs of kidney disease. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we heard in that report that one of the common or the growingly common causes is the abuse of herbal medicine. Before we talk about that specifically, what other causes are there?
Worldwide, the leading cause of kidney disease is diabetes. In Ghana, it differs a little bit. It's hypertension first, followed closely by diabetes, and some of these other causes are also. But I must also add that certain infections also tend to cause a lot of kidney problems over here. Most of these infections are acquired earlier in life. They are not detected early. It goes on to affect the kidneys. And by the time these younger children, now adults, come to us, then they have what we call the end stage of the kidney disease, at which point nothing much can be done about it in terms of getting back to the normal kidney function. But diabetes worldwide, followed by hypertension. But in Ghana, it's hypertension, diabetes.
Yeah. Now, it can be very expensive to treat, can't it?
Yes. What I said earlier on, and I'll say again, is kidney disease needs to be detected early, because like most of these other diseases, it's a silent killer. Most people present very late at what we call the end stage, where they need to be on what we call renal replacement therapy. There are a number of modes of renal replacement therapy, but what that essentially is saying is that renal refers to the kidney, replacement means you are replacing the kidney function. So by the time they get to us, they are the end stage and they need to be put on that. But kidney disease goes through a spectrum. There's the classification from stage 1 or an asymptomatic stage to the last stage. So if you're able to catch people at the earlier stages where they may not show any symptoms, we can put in measures in place so that they don't progress to the end stage, because the end stage is irreversible. Nothing can be done about it except to have renal replacement therapy.
Yeah. So dialysis is renal replacement therapy. Now, in Ghana, first of all, there don't appear to be enough facilities to provide dialysis treatment. At Kolebu, for example, how many dialysis machines are there?
Well, there are quite a number. I cannot, off the top of my head, say, but there should be at least 20 or so machines. There are machines at different sections of the hospital. We have ICUs that have specific machines for the ICU, but we have a nephrology unit that has machines there as well. But just to go a little bit back about the renal replacement therapy, worldwide the standard is to have another kidney to replace your failed kidney. So that should be our aim long term, to have a renal transplant where somebody who's compatible can give you a kidney. Where that is not possible, then we have other avenues like dialysis, of which there are different types. The commonest type we have here is what we call hemodialysis. There are other forms of dialysis. So this is where we use a machine which essentially acts as a kidney. When you see how complex the machine is, then you appreciate how marvelous your kidneys are, because it's a huge unit replacing a small bean-shaped organ at the back of your body. So that is the dialysis machine, and it's quite expensive.
Yes, this is the thing I wanted to get to. I mean, first of all, if Kolebu, which is the biggest hospital really in Ghana, has an estimated 20 or so of these machines, and we consider the statistics, I mean, the suggestion is that almost 2 out of every 10 people who will walk into a hospital today have kidney problems. Okay, so 17% of our population, if we have 30 million people, 17%, we're looking at what, 1.7 times 3? That's a lot. That's something around almost 6 million people, 5.2 million people who are expected to have kidney problems. Out of those, quite a portion will be acute and in need of renal replacement therapy. We're talking about millions of people requiring dialysis, and at Kolebu, our biggest hospital, there are only 20.
Okay, so let me just correct something. That's not exactly the case. If I should correct you a little bit here, the acute is reversible. Since you brought the term acute, acute kidney injury means that the kidneys have shut down in a very short time. If it is recognized early, trained staff, trained nurses, trained doctors are able to recognize this, we can reverse what is causing the acute kidney injury, and you're able to recover, in fact, almost 100% of your kidney function. It's the chronic type, which has been going on for a long time, that tends to progress to the end
Thanks
stage.
for that correction.
And the 17% I mentioned, it's a form of kidney disease. Not all the 17% are at the end stage where they require renal replacement therapy.
That's right. So I did seek to approximate that if 70% have some form of kidney disease, a portion of those 17% will have chronic renal failure.
End stage.
That's right. Yeah. So if we are estimating about 5.2 million people have some form of kidney disease, then a portion of that, at the very least 1 million or so, will be looking at chronic kidney disease. That's right. So even if we're dealing with 1 million and we have 20 dialysis machines at Kolebu, clearly those machines must be under a great deal of strain and pressure.
Yes, there is pressure, that is true, but efforts are being made. It's not just in Kolebu. There are lots of private individuals who are also setting up. There are a number of private dialysis centers out there. Other hospitals also have dialysis centers. I know Ridge Hospital has a dialysis center. I know in Cape Coast they have a dialysis center. I believe in Efiang Kwanta they also have a dialysis center. In Tamale they have a dialysis center. So it's about planning and going forward, having key areas that can serve a population based on the statistics that we gather. So this puts the onus on us to do research to find out what are the trends. The worrying trend is that it's on the increase. We can see we see 2 new cases of end-stage renal disease if I should estimate, every day. So it's on the increase. So we need to start planning ahead. But for the foreseeable future, we should be looking at having a service that can cater for transplant, because that is the best form of renal replacement therapy. Right. Most areas, dialysis is used as a bridge toward transplant, but we need to have an effective transplant service here, which can put people off dialysis eventually, most people, yes.
Okay, so I mean, if I walk into the renal unit today at Kolebu, I will not see a queue of people who are struggling to get access to dialysis machines.
Not likely. You're not going to see a queue. There are times when it can get very busy, when there are lots of cases, but systems are very well organized there. There are a number of shifts. There are nurses working throughout the day, throughout the night. There's always somebody on call. There's always a doctor on call. I believe these are the similar systems in Cape Coast, similar systems in Tamale. Doctors try, nurses try to always be on the ground to cater for these patients, because most of the time patients are very, very sick. And if you don't intervene quickly, you may lose them.
Now, this form of treatment is expensive, isn't it?
Yes, it is expensive.
Why, though? I mean, it's a machine. We've already paid for the machine. You know, we own it. So why is it expensive to hook someone up to it?
It's expensive not just because of the machine, but there are the consumables that go with the machine. The machine comes with lines. The machine comes with what we call dialyzer fluids. It comes with trained nurses. It comes with trained doctors. It comes with special needles. It's not just about the machine. It's quite expensive. The consumables are also quite expensive.
So how much does it cost for a session usually?
So yet again, I don't have the figures off the top of my head, but I believe dialysis a session ranges between about maybe 250 Ghana cedis to 300, depending on the center. But maybe let's put it at about 300 cedis. And the worldwide standard is to have at least 3 sessions of dialysis a week. So that's about 1,000 Ghana cedis a week to keep you alive.
That's remarkable. What it means is that if a Ghanaian has kidney disease, which we're estimating about 17% of us do have, and if that person's kidney disease happens to be chronic or in requirement of renal replacement therapy, while they await the ultimate therapy of a replacement kidney, they have to have at least 3 sessions of dialysis every week.
That's the standard.
So they'll have to spend about 1,000 cedis every week.
That's the standard, and that's not talking about labs they need to do. That's not talking about medications they need to buy. So it's very expensive.
So if it happens to be a person on low income, a farmer, fisherman, laborer, receptionist, somebody who is earning no more than 1,000 cedis a month, it's a death sentence.
I must add that sadly, we have seen a number of patients who come in who cannot afford, and they walk away and we don't see them again. So it happens.
Wow, that's a sobering thought. Now, Hannah Odame of our health desk also caught up with Ghanaian musician and survivor of double kidney malfunction, Andy Alexander Ni Akrashi, known popularly as OJ Black. Now, he's been telling his rather personal story. Check it out.
The Chalewata hitmaker said drinking so much alcohol and smoking caused his kidney disease.
It was lifestyle. You see, because there's nothing like that in my family, so I know it's lifestyle.
What were you doing? What's the lifestyle?
I was doing a lot of things. I was over smoking, drinking, eating late, eating junk, eating at the wrong time, drinking wrong things. Not only alcohol that worries, fizzy drinks, unnecessary drinking at any time because you think they are nice things, and all the very cool things and all that, all those things are factors.
He says he was devastated when he heard the news of his ailment.
It was a whole lot of pain and breaking hearts and all that.
After 7 months of dialysis, complemented by an immune booster, OJ started to see improvement in his health.
So I started doing dialysis, and I was doing it 3 times in a week, and it wasn't something I pray anyone goes through. When you are put on the machine, there's a connection that connects through to your veins to pull out your blood. For 4 hours, your blood goes into the machine, and then according to them, they clean the blood, they take the toxins out, and then they put it back into your system. They mix it with chemicals and put it back into your system. So even the blood coming back to your system means your blood is diluted. It's not even the original blood, you see. So it's not a joke thing. Sometimes you feel dizzy. Sometimes, it's not a cool thing.
At a point, you got strong enough to make a decision. Tell us about that.
When I went back home, when I was discharged from the ward to do dialysis from home, I heard my mom talking to one of her friends about. Her friend was telling her about this food supplement, an immune booster that her friend was taken, and it really helped her friend. Her friend had a liver problem, and it helped her friend. So the next day I told my mom that what Auntie Ruth was telling you, I'm interested.
Your instincts got connected to what was being said.
Yes. Okay. And trust me, I had a feeling that immune booster will help me. I had a feeling that because even if you're on the machine, immune boosters are recommended for you. So, but I knew, because that one was natural and all that, I knew it would help me. Okay. So I told my mom we should go for it. Mm-hmm. Mom took me to the clinic, and then we went for it.
He says he does not want anyone to go through the pain he endured. He also encouraged family members to be supportive of their relatives who have been diagnosed.
I always say that people who come around you, the things they say to you is what gives you the courage or dampens your spirit. So when you come around me, you don't say any negative thing. You know, my family, my friends, you know, that's what we have to understand and do for people who are going through all these problems.
OJ Black calls on government to subsidize the cost involved in treating the disease to reduce its financial toll on the patients.
I will plead with the government to actually help subsidize the payment, because a lot of people are dying because they can't go on the machine. People come there, and because they don't have their receipt, they turn them away.
For JoyNews, my name is Hannah Odame.
Hannah Odame there, and OJ Black, clearly one of the lucky ones. His condition clearly was reversible. There are many whose are not. Now, Doc, so clearly the problem here, in the majority of people who are coming and presenting with kidney disease, is probably because they haven't managed their diabetes well, they haven't managed their hypertension well. There's also a suspicion of a connection between kidney disease and herbal medication. Is that right?
Yeah, so before I go to that, I would like to make a quick comment on what was just shown. It's likely, it could be that what Mr. Black had was an acute kidney injury, which was reversible. I don't know so much about this immune booster that he's referring to. As far as I know, there's no immune booster that can reverse end-stage kidney disease. So I don't want people to go away with the impression that if you have end-stage kidney disease and you're dialysis dependent, you can go for an immune booster and you'll be off dialysis. So I don't want that to be what people take away from this. As a rule of thumb, I say that don't take anything, the content of which you are not sure of. Whatever doesn't have a good label, whatever you don't know what is in, don't take. So this may include some of these herbal preparations that people are taking, because sometimes people mix all sorts of things at home. We don't know what it is. Exactly what causes kidney disease in some of these instances, we don't know. More research is needed. So as a rule of thumb, don't take anything you don't know what the contents of are.
Right. Now, usually the best way to avoid, to avoid the cost of such expensive treatments is to prevent yourself from getting the disease in the first place. So what's the best way to do that?
The best way is live a healthy life, exercise, maintain a healthy weight, eat well, avoid smoking avoid smoking, avoid excess alcohol. If you're hypertensive, go for a regular reviews, knowing that in Ghana, hypertension is the leading cause of end stage. If you're diabetic, go for a regular review. See your doctor, let them check you, let them screen you. Kidney disease is asymptomatic, which means most of the time you don't show any symptoms till it's too late.
Doc, thank you so much. Dr. Victor Ekem is from the Internal Medicine Unit at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and he's been educating us in commemoration of World Kidney Day.